The journey of this film festival, I think Nupur has sort of explained how that year they gave Nagaland and Hyderabad to sort of have these two traveling film festivals. So when they gave Nagaland, we knew that if we went it alone, it would just be a small screening for a few of us because the funds were very tight. So we decided maybe, talk to like-minded departments and see if they would come on board. So our first port of call is always the IPR. They have been with us from the beginning and always supported our organization. And without any hesitation, they sort of helped us. So we thank them for really supporting us. For TAFMA, when we went to meet them, I think what they said was, we are here to make your lives easier. And they sort of, help us with this hall, with the logistics. And thank you so much for that as well. For the Director of Human Resource Development, it was the first time we sort of interacted with him, and without any hesitation, he was like, this is, I can help you in a little way. And though he's not here, he's out of town, I think, seeking with his wife and child. But he has sent his support and always saying that, wishing us well. For art and culture as well, she's out of town, but she made sure that, we got her support. And with NSEX, I think they saw that our goals aligned in reaching out to people, so they were on board. And I think during the break, we're going to screen their public service announcements so that people are a little bit more aware. So we thank all of them for coming on board. The same thing with what Nupur was saying. The idea of having film festivals is to hear the other voices, to hear alternative voices that are coming out. We have access to so much mainstream media, and for people who sort of want to have, see some other voices, alternate voices, documentaries or films made by independent filmmakers seem to be it. And for us, with lots of our members, many of us will never get to go outside and attend film festivals where we can have access to these films, see these films. So it gives us so much pleasure to be able to bring the films to us at our doorstep where we can watch them. And I know filmmakers in Nagaland, we get a lot of flack for saying that, our films are not in the festival or they are not out there. But the thing is, always remember, we are also new at this. We are just the first sort of batch that is starting out. And never forget, we're always trying. We're always trying to better ourselves. We're always trying to make films. And we're always trying to make a living out of this as well, in Nagaland. So we will do better. But along the way, we are also hoping to create a cinema culture where people come and watch these films. People talk about, new ideas, spark new dialogues. So we just want to thank everybody that is here, faces old and new, for being with us for the next few days, 2 days, and please enjoy yourselves. Thank you so much.
You see the variety of theme, the thematic variety, the passion with which each film has been crafted. And then also remember the struggle of these filmmakers to actually take it forward. In independent filmmaking, what happens is not everybody is able to put these works on OTT, right? So what happens to these works? I mean, the one thing that we can do is carry them on our back. And now the Velvet Revolution, which I directed along with Deepika and 4 other women, it was a collaborative project made in 2017. It's about the increasing attacks on women journalists. Do come to see it tomorrow and do be here for the next 2 days watching all the films. But just to say that I've carried that film on my back across 250 locations across the world. Starting from all the cities in India, in Colombo, in Kathmandu, in New York, in London, in Turkey, in Jordan. I don't mean to show off here, but literally we have done that, taken it to all these venues and had a screening and talked about the issue of attacks on women journalists. So it's almost like you make the film with so much of hardship because there's funding problems, there's putting it together, all the creative problems that come with it. All of you know, many of you are working in studios, making films. What happens? And then after that, distribution, there's nobody to distribute it. So you are actually going physically from place to place, showing the film and talking to audiences. It's an amazing experience. I will not discount it in any way, but it's also not something, and for somebody like me who's been in television, and we discovered last night that Naro, Deepika and I, all three of us were in NDTV. Of course, we are intergenerational, so, I was there certain years, they were there certain years. In prime time television, I did one report and it would be seen by 1 million people. Where do we have this kind of viewership for our documentary films? And I'll end with just saying the importance of having these festivals, making these documentaries, is because mainstream media, from where I come, and I've worked for 35 years, first as a print journalist and then a television journalist, is that the space for actual storytelling, unbiased, unfiltered, non-fake news. I'm sure all of you seated here will agree that that space has vanished. And what we are seeing in the name of news on 80 news channels is a lot of just opinion and bias, and that to a lot of right-wing bias. I'm not saying that left-wing bias is great, but no bias. We all know that news was supposed to have been unfiltered, it was supposed to have been unbiased. We have run away from that regime. People are just sitting in the studio and just talking about an opinion that they have. Usually it's fake. Nobody is going to the ground. A documentary filmmaker cannot make a film without going to the spot, going to that area, following a theme or a subject with passion. And I can tell you, Nagaland is a host of stories, which many of you seated here, I hope, you will pursue, and we will get to see those documentary films. I've already made a list of some of the films that people have made here, and which I'm just going to go back and watch. I have so much of reading to do when I get back. I'm going back from Kohima on the 4th. It's a very short trip, but I promise I'll be back. And I'm here with you for the next 2 days, and I'd love to talk to you all individually. I just want to say a big thank you to Naro, who wears 2 hats. She is also an IAWRT member, and also she's the president of FAN. And I think it really helps to have this kind of synergy. I think we've been able to put this thing together because she has brought her passion in marrying these two, and you have the festival in front of you. It's lovely to see you all here, and I really hope I'll interact with you over the next 2 days. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Can you tell us a little bit about IAWRT?
So IAWRT stands for International Association of Women in Radio and Television, and as the name denotes, these are women from radio practitioners who are in television and who are also filmmakers. We are about 500 members worldwide. It's an international organization with links to the UN, and we have a very robust India chapter with over 100 members, or almost 100 members, which is like if 500 membership in international, then 100 is 1/5. So, and every year during International Women's Year, we hold the Asian Women's Film Festival. And this year we held in March our 20th edition. So it was really a wonderful historic moment because it is a struggle to bring films of independent women filmmakers from this region together and have them filmed, have them screened in one venue. We have to every year struggle for funding. make sure all our members do this work voluntarily. Nobody's paid for it. They're also very busy filmmakers, TV people themselves, but they give this time for this organization. And been able to create this brand. And as a part of that, we had plans to take traveling festival, we have about 50 films that show. We want to take about 14, 15 to different cities. And we had planned this trip to Kohima a long time ago, but then COVID hit. And so now we've been able to do it with the help of FAN. And it's a lovely acronym, isn't it? And with the help of FAN and IAWRT and TEFMA and Department of Information here and many other organizations which have come forward to help.
Okay, ma'am, we would also like to know if there is any specific criteria, or is there a charge for people who wants to be a part, for women who wants to be a part of IWART, if they want to
Yeah,
be a
we
part?
have you have to qualify only by being interested in film, television, or radio, either a practitioner or an academic in that field. That's also fine. You have to be interested in this particular area of work. So, yeah, that's the only criteria. We have a membership fee, a very small yearly annual membership fee. Yeah, so that's about it. Yeah. And there's a form to be filled and there are nominations to be made. That's all. Yeah.
Ma'am, you said something earlier about Nagaland's post of stories. Would you like to explain that to us?
Well, before I came here, I had 50 messages from different people, including my sister, who's written a book on Indians in the First World War. She's written a book on a Second World War heroine, and she said, don't forget to go and see the war memorial. And that beautiful saying that is there on it, and she always repeats that particular saying. Maybe I'll read it sometime for you just now. So, uh, you know, and of course Nagaland, there are so many stories here. There are people's struggles, there are women's struggles. Every region in this country, we have stories to tell, isn't it? And the more vibrant media we have, which is not bringing fake news, but which is bringing real news because it's going to the field. You know what has happened to mainstream media now and how everything is manufactured news. And it's sad to pass that off as news. Also, independent filmmaking. If many of you can do long form documentaries, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, half an hour, which is then goes to festivals. So everybody in another, sitting in Trivandrum, people get to see what's happening in Nagaland, right? I mean, we are a huge country and sometimes we don't know anything about each other. And we need to correct that. And also you need to tell your story to the world.
So is it safe to assume or to take it in that Nagaland stories are, when it comes to the mainstream media, it's not being tapped, as much as...
So many places, I am from Delhi, but I went to the south and I stayed there in South India because I said I have no problems being far away from Delhi and the studios because South is so underreported. So there are so many regions in our country, including the Northeast, which is so underreported. If it rains in Delhi, it comes in the channels. But all sorts of things will happen in South and in Northeast and other regions, which will not find place. So we need vibrant, good reporters who come into, now you'll say which channel, all the channels have become biased. That is a challenge. But you start your own here. I would say have your own independent ones from here. So that at least even the people here get to know the correct news,
If there is any message that you would like to, give to those upcoming filmmakers.
So tomorrow we have a screening of this film which I made with 5 other women directors. One of them, Deepika, is here with me. She made the India film, and there are others from Philippines and Canada and there was just Afghanistan, lots of people who came from other places, 5 of them. And we made this film called Velvet Revolution. It's about how women journalists have been increasingly under attack And I really invite you to see that film tomorrow because it's about the media. And earlier, women journalists, both state and non state people who don't like our, because we are doing truth telling, they would at least spare us from being killed. But now they don't stop even at killing. The world over, the media rights groups are seeing a rise in the number of women journalists that are being even killed, drastic steps because they are telling stories that those in power or others, who are non-state players don't like. So Velvet Revolution is about that. I invite you, and please tell your media friends to come and watch it. There are a lot of messaging that will emerge in the conversation that we have after that, and how it's so important. It's not to put off women to come into journalism, it's to attract more women into journalism and to say, come here, let's continue the truth telling on media, on our people. We are only responsible for our people, for no one else. We are not indebted to any government, to anyone other than our own people, and to tell their stories. That's what a journalist's job is, to bridge the gap between policymakers and the people who do not have a voice. So if you take that as a message, that's what I think journalism should be about.
Okay, ma'am. One last question. In Nagaland, particularly, we do have a lot of male directors or maybe filmmakers, but comparatively, women are low in number, and there are just a handful of them. So, in just a word or two, what advice would you like to give to them, and what tip would you give to them?
I'm wondering why. Look at, I've been meeting the most stunning women here from last night, and it's just a matter of time. And it's that ratio is there from Hollywood to even deep down south, or even in Bollywood. We know that numbers of women are always less than men. It is, filmmaking has been, continues to be a male dominated profession. But things are changing. A lot of women directors are coming forward, their work is being appreciated, and they're coming in large numbers as editors, as cinematographers, all over. I mean, earlier they would just say, okay, editing, because ek jagah mein baithe raho aur kaam karte raho. That's a nice little role for, I'm not trying to denounce editing. It's one of the most fascinating things in filmmaking, how you put the film together. You can shoot as much as you want, but at the end of it, it has to be put in a 50-minute or a 60-minute version or a 2-minute version, whatever. So editing is extremely important. But what I'm saying is that women could do all the jobs, and they've done it. They've done it in television. In our newsroom in NDTV, we were more women. I mean, ratio was completely different. There were more women than men. So we breached it. If we can breach it in some places and some institutions, why not everywhere? It'll happen. All of you will soon be, I'll be on the other side and interviewing you for a film you've made. That's the way forward. Just believe in yourself.
My name is Yapang Naralongkumar, and I'm an independent documentary filmmaker.
Okay, ma'am, can you tell us a little detail about the documentaries or films that you have produced so far?
Most of the documentaries I've done are for departments in Nagaland and some funding agencies from outside and NGOs. So those are the films that we've been making so far.
Okay. Ma'am, can you give any idea about the scene in Nagaland where women are into filmmaking or documentary making and all?
Excuse me. So in Nagaland, so far, most of the documentary filmmakers are women, and not to discount that they're men as well. So I think men are also trying to get into feature films as well. And so far, I think Nagaland has not had a full-length feature film that has been sent for festivals, that has gone out. So I think we still have a long way to go in terms of catching up with other states. But like I said today, don't worry, we're all working on it. All of us are working professionals in that sense. So I think we are just trying to better our craft, and slowly, hopefully we can all make something that makes an impact on people.
Okay. Ma'am, the movies that are being showcased in this festival, if I'm not mistaken, they're all made by women, right? So is there any platform where the male can also come and showcase their movies or documentaries, or Do you think Nagaland is planning for any such film festivals ahead?
See, all the other festivals that we've had have been for everybody. It's open to anybody. It's just that this particular organization that we have tied up with is for women in radio and television. So all the films are made by women. But any other festival that we've had, men and women are, anybody is open to join. Anybody that wants to send in their film, anybody that's made a film can showcase their film.
Okay, ma'am, is there any organization in Nagaland where, it is specifically just like the IAWRT is organized for women specifically? Is there any organization in Nagaland where women can come together who have the same interest of filmmaking and documentary making?
So far, nothing like that. We have a association called the Film Association of Nagaland, which is inclusive. Includes anybody that wants to join us in the media banner. Anybody that's working in different capacities in the media are all under the same banner. So men, women, they're documentary filmmakers, they're photographers, the editors. News people, anybody that wanted to join our organization. We are 50 odd, so that's a big number, I assume. So I think we have, it's open to anybody. So there's nothing like specifically for women that, only women filmmakers, nothing like that.
Then, ma'am, is there any advice that you would like to give to our female enthusiasts of filmmaking and documentary? What word of advice would you give to them?
Uh, Sorry. I think for those who want to make documentaries, nothing should stop you. Men, women, it doesn't matter who you are. If there's a story you want to tell, if this is a profession you really want to do, I think just get into it, stick with it, and it will pay off dividends in the end because you will get your stories out. Even if you get it out to a small crowd, to a big crowd, you will get to tell your stories. So I say don't give up.